Biology chapter 17 theory video 11. We are going to discuss about improving milk yield of dairy cattle. Now cattle or the cows are bred in almost every part of the world, but in Europe, America, and some parts of Africa along with Australia, they are found in large numbers. So what they do is they have they have to they need now uh, cattle or cows are uh, cows are reared to for two purposes. One is to obtain milk, the other is to obtain meat. So when they have to get cows for the purpose of meat, they what they do is they actually choose the cows which are going to be bigger, larger, or who are going to have a lot of muscles. So they are selected and they are allowed to breed. So just like that, in milk production also, what they do is they pick. They don't have to know about the genotype. What they do is they find out or which they select the cows who produce the high quality and large quantities of milk. So then what they do is they take the they pick the females who produce large quantities of milk and high quality milk, and they make them breed with close relatives of high milk yield producing cows. So then over many generations, when they do that, they will get animals with high productivity of or high production capacity of milk. But this is against the natural selection, because selective breeding. So then they are concerned only about one or two characteristics, like the meat production or the milk production. So when natural selection happens, it is actually the process where the most suitable, that is survival of the fittest. That means the by nature selects the species or the organisms who are going to be more suitable for the environmental changes, and who are adapted to that environment. So when you keep on when you keep on when you keep on selecting the uh, uh, animals who have a specific characteristic, you might backtrack on the other characteristics. That is, the other characteristic might come to a halt, or else they might be enhanced accidentally. That would be disadvantageous in that particular environment. So this results in this could result in problems. Now, in United States, they carried out an experiment where they had a control group. In the first group, they made highest milk yield producing cows to interbreed, and then the other group, they allowed natural conditions to exist. So then, and when they chose when they carried out the experiment over 25 years, they found that the first group, the population of cows selected for milk yield, their milk yield uh, actually increased. Their milk yield increased, and so that is expected. But something that they couldn't explain was the cows who had the natural selection process, their milk yield decreased over time. So this, there was no way of giving out a specific reason why it happened, but it could be the selective disadvantages, having high milk yield. If you have a high milk yield, that would be a disadvantage in the natural order. Now, if you have lower milk yields, they would be more likely to have offspring, because they would be more stronger than the others. Then now both of you have to remember, both of these groups are given the same conditions. So when the random variation or genetic drift comes into account, things can happen that might not be the same or expected result that we require. Then now they actually found out that the uh, the control the control group, that is the group which was allowed to interbreed in the natural order, other than the in different to the selection line, there is a cows with the highest yield. So they started developing the different diseases such as mastitis. Mastitis is actually uh, the mastitis rather. Mastitis is the cows having huge udders that were so much that was so much larger than natural order, and this actually resulted in the inflammation of the udder. So udder is the organ where milk is produced, like the breast. So this was huge, and that created inflammation, and they were sick. So they had to spend $43 for the treatment for each animal. Then in the control line, it was not like that. So they had to just spend 16. Then ketosis and milk fever, 22 against 12. Reproductive issues, 18 against 13. Lameness, 10 and 6. Respiratory problems, 4 against 1. So you can see that the control line, they were more adapted to the environment than the selection line. So there were benefits, but at the same time, there were problems also, right? So these problems are these problems occur when you continue with artificial selection. So what we need to understand is when we continue to select a long line of high milk yields, there would be problems that comes along with it. So we have to be cautious when doing when being involved in uh, artificial selection against the natural selection. Write down a note on this. The yield of milk production is increased by choosing the cows who produce high quality milk in larger quantities and then allowing them to reproduce with bulls with female relatives with high milk yield. When this continued for generations by artificial selection, the resulting offsprings would be producing high yield and high quality milk. However, artificial selection has its risks, where because one or two characteristics are concerned, all the other characteristics would be disadvantageous in a natural situation. An experiment carried out in the United States showed that a selection line of cows having high milk yields against a group of a control group of cows being given natural process of selection, the selection line provided high milk yields, but they were prone to more diseases, whereas the other control group cows were more suitable and adapted to environmental conditions. You might want to draw this figure 17.9, it might 19, it would help you a little. So I hope you understood. If you have any questions, please ask. If not, continue listening to the other videos.